So I literally wasn't even planning on doing this right now. I was planning on getting ready for class, going to class, coming back, and then doing this. But, like, of course, I get ready, sit down, try to do some stuff before I gear up. And, well, I mean, I still got like 2 hours before, 3 hours before I actually head to class, because my class is until 1:30. The only thing I need to do beforehand is go talk to the school people about getting me a bus pass using my student ID. So that's all I pretty much plan to do before class. And then jump online. I see this. This is this goes hand in hand with what I've been saying for the last couple of days. You all want some righteous thing to fight. You want to fight fascism, you want to fight tyranny, oppression. You want to fight these destructive powers. But when there are those of us to give you the direction in which you can look to fight, you do stuff like this. And it's hilarious that you do stuff like this, because this will not do anything for your cause. And as a matter of fact, this is going to turn anybody who had any, like, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day, maybe they just need to take their medication, maybe they need to go back to get some more medication, because this is what this stuff looks like. It looks like some under-medicated, off their meds people who, for some reason, only want to pay attention to American social media, American stuff. And then when you say, well, America first, they're like, well, not exactly America first. It's, we need America first plus these people that can lie to us and make us believe their BS story. That's also America first. Letting people in here, letting everybody into America is also America first. Because if we pump up our borders, then most of these people don't look outside their front doors. They don't look past their streets, past their cities, states. They don't look past anything. All they know is some neighbor down the street that they've never met, don't care about. And as a matter of fact, when Obama was in office, they would have screamed the same thing. Get him out of here. Send him home. But seeing as it's a person that don't agree with, then it goes into a, that's not right. You can't do that. That's illegal. But given their supporting power, it's okay. Because Obama deported way more people than Trump has in both of his terms. And Obama also blew a bunch of people up across the world, too. Obama is the king of drone strikes. Like, literally the king of drone strikes. You don't hear about all the things he's done to the people in the Middle East because he's blowing them up. He's not giving anyone the ability to question his motives and his tactics, because Barack Obama blew all of his enemies up in the Middle East. He blew everybody up in the Middle East, dropped a drone strike on everybody in the Middle East. In his 8 years of president, he's deported hundreds of thousands of people. And Obama was the lock them in cages person. Obama was the one that was locking them in cages. And the only reason Guantanamo Bay went bye-bye was because it got out what was going on there. Like, it was... people say, well, that guy that's releasing all the ICE names, that's a whistleblower. He's doing God's work. No, that's a treasonous criminal. The person that blew the whistle on Guantanamo Bay, I mean, it's subjectivity. Heinous criminals don't care. When you're a heinous, disgusting, evil human being, and you're more likely to terrorize people than to be a good person, then I don't care what happens to you. Unfortunately, that's where my empathy, sympathy, and mercy ends. When there's no hope for your fixing you to becoming a better and good person, then I don't care what happens to you. I'm not going to say what's unfortunate to say, because they've already taken the fortunate thing out of that. They've already taken the mercy, the empathy, the sympathy. They've already taken that out of there. Whenever they continue to be despicable people. And rightfully so. You can't be a gross, despicable person and expect to just have a good hand in the world. But Guantanamo Bay, as a whole, the whistle was blown on that. So Barack Obama, doing what he did best, was like, well, now everybody knows about what we do there, so we got to pretend like we weren't knowing of it, and we got to make it go away. Again, remember who was in power, who was sitting in that office when Abu Ghraib was happening. Remember all of this stuff that was happening and who was in these seats when all this was happening. And you could say, well, it was also Bush, it was also Clinton. That is the entire point. It doesn't matter who you put up into that seat, that shiny golden seat. When you start idolizing someone as the all-encompassing word of power, they will be corrupted by that power. Whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's J.D. Vance, whether it's somebody in the past, very few leaders have been able to withstand that level of corruption that power does to you. Because it's not saying that the whole thing, well, that's another argument, whether the thing is inherently corrupt or if it just happens to be that way because of corrupt people getting in there. So that's like one of those remains to be seen things, whether the whole entire system was built to be corrupt or if it was built to be good and just corrupted by the worst people over time. I'm going to sit in the middle where I guarantee you there are parts of it that were built to be straight up corruption, straight up exploitative corruption. But then there is the other side where the main base of it has been corrupted over time by despicable people being given these seats and these powers. So again, these people have no real understanding of what they're fighting for and about. Because if they truly wanted to fight fascism, if they truly felt like there was fascism and Nazism style regimes going on in the world, then they wouldn't be going after ICE, going after the president. They wouldn't be saying this to the people in our country. And this is also how you can tell that these people don't pay attention to anything outside their own front door. They don't. They sit inside their houses, stare at a multitude of screens, digest TBS, CBS, ABC, CNN, even Fox News, because Fox News is going to only tell you the one side of it. They're going to tell you libtards are retarded and then go and say even dumber stuff. That's because these people have polluted their thinking with a one line of thought. That's it. My side's right, your side's wrong, your side is, you don't know how to talk to people. While neither of them know how to talk to anybody. And I've been saying it for days. This Karenism thing is going to boil up to a point where we're not going to be able to drop a wooden spoon over top of it and keep the water contained, keep the bubbles contained, the boiling contained. We're not going to continue to be able to keep this stuff contained if we don't contain this. If we don't contain this Karenism thing and get and essentially put up actual barriers that stop these people from doing this stuff. And it's we can put up the barriers to stop these people, but we also have to put up the barriers to stop the people that are at the wheel of these people, because these people are not driving their own cars. They are not in control of their own brains and thoughts. They've hive-minded their thought processes and patterns and train of thought to their favorite politician who echoes the same stuff. That's exactly what they do. They're not thinking. They're not acting. They're not being themselves. They really need a political Snickers is what they need. And that's for these people that are controlling them, whether you're a liberal, conservative, or in the middle. You're actively being controlled by a group of people that are trying to drive you off a cliff. If these people are telling you you need to be outraged and mad and upset about stuff, then you probably should be questioning what they're saying. Because they shouldn't be telling you what you need to do. They should be showing you Show me the reasons of why I should be angry, upset, and out here protesting the streets for your cause. Because when they start having to show the evidence of why, it doesn't look good for them. And they actually start losing support more than gaining support. Which is why they have to employ their army of Karens and their army of blissfully ignorant people to fight for them. Because they know the evidence proves them wrong in every regard. Because while they can out of context some pieces of evidence, the moment they let slip the actual context of that evidence, their whole story goes away. Their whole story goes away. You see what they're actually fighting for. And then we all get on with our lives because we can actually ignore these people. Because in my opinion, this wrinkled ass lady, no. You want to be blind to actually what's actually going on. You get to go over to Iran when we actually go over there to essentially stop them from spreading that nonsense around the world like they've been trying to do. Because the Europe is falling. All of Europe is falling. Russia is literally strong-arming everybody. They're kind of being held at bay by Ukraine, but it doesn't matter because Ukraine, even if Ukraine holds Russia back, Ukraine is another bought and paid for regime of people who aren't for people. Zelensky says he's for people, but he's not. The dude is an actual theater kid, has no intelligence in the world of politics. He's smarter when it comes to theater blocking than he is politicking. But they put him in power of that country, and he's led that country right into bad news bears. I don't care what you say. Zelensky is part of the reason that country has been led astray. The world is falling to pieces. The United States is no different. Us falling down and crashing out, it looks a little bit different because, like I've been saying for days, we don't have the kind of oppression that we see across the world. Our oppression is a financial thing. It's a pick yourself up by the bootstraps thing. It's that. Purposely created imbalance so that the argument of, well, you need to do more. You're obviously not working 17 jobs. You're only working 15. Well, there you go. You need to get 2 more jobs. That's what our country is fighting against. Ignorant, underproductive leaders who expect the rest of us to overproduce to make up for how useless and underproductive they are. And again, you can say somebody building hundreds and thousands of businesses and making billions and trillions of dollars is smart, is intelligent, but are they really though? Because when it comes down to it, did they truly build their riches, or were their riches donated to them by their family that was used as the kickoff point to? Because again, it's like, you can't say Jeff Bezos is a self-made billionaire because his family his parents literally gave him the $500,000 he asked for to invest in Amazon. He didn't have to go out and crowdsource and crowdfund and stand on the corner like, I'm trying to do the right thing, help me. He didn't do that. Donald Trump didn't do that. His family didn't do that. None of these rich people's families actually picked themselves up by their bootstraps. None of them did. And it literally takes just a small Google search to find it that they haven't. And even well, yes, they did. My father started as a carpenter. I'm sure your dad started as a carpenter and became a billionaire on legit straight carpentry. Because if that was the case, there are hundreds of thousands of carpenters that are probably better than your family at carpentry, who didn't all of a sudden become billionaires late stages in life. So you can't tell me that any of these politicians came from actual humble beginnings. Because I guarantee you there's a line somewhere in their history that points right to where they've got their main base of funding from. There is always that case. There are very few people in this country and in this world who are self-made filthy rich people. Donald Trump isn't one of them. His family's not one of them. There's no such thing as a self-made rich person. There was always something shady happening. Always something shady happening. And of course, you're not going to talk about it. It makes your family look bad. Why would you even say, why would you even agree that there may have been shady things happening in your past? I mean, that's the realistic thing, knowing how this stuff actually does work. The realistic thing would be to not deny possible shady things that your family's done in the past. But when you sit and hide it and hide from it, no one's going to trust you. No one's trusting these people that we've never heard of for a moment. You're fighting this fight. Are you sure you are? Or are you just saying that because your politician friend or the person you wish was your friend who's also a politician said this? Because if you people were actually fighting these fights, you would have been fighting them forever ago. Because not only Republicans haven't always had office and haven't always not been in office. Democrats haven't always had office and they've not always been in office. So at some points in time, you guys had to have seen that there was a problem somewhere whenever the opposing team was holding office. Well, we've been saying that. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. This whole fascism thing is a recent thing. This is like within the last 10 years. I never heard as a kid people saying as many and as damning things as I've heard since over the last decade. I'm just going to say over the last decade, I've seen and heard so much worse than I did as a kid. And I was not an informed kid, but I was a kid that paid attention. I didn't butt into adult conversation, but I always, for some reason, overheard it. But I would just listen. I didn't really jump in and try to offer my childish 2 cents. I mean, I may have done it once and got told off for it, but that's when I just like, okay, I'm not an adult. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to listen what the adults say. And I'm going to listen to how they talk and what they're talking about. And while some might call it, well, growing up, you grew up too early. To me, there were things as a child that I enjoyed, and I did them. I did the child thing, did the child stuff, acted like a child, grew up for the most part as a child. But I didn't force myself into paying attention to everything. Things happen in your life that open your eyes to stuff, regardless of the point in time in which it happens. Some kids, things happen to them so early that it opens their eyes before they're old enough to understand any of it. Oh shit, I forgot to text my brother. I forgot to text my brother. He's giving me a ride to class. I'm taking the bus home, but yeah. But yeah, you guys have no clue what you're doing. And it's not just liberals, it's the conservative side too. You guys are seriously paying attention to the wrong things. While I do agree with the immigration thing, get illegal immigrants, criminals. If you didn't take the right routes to get here, go home. You're causing problems for the people that live here, and you're causing problems for the people that actually want to legally come up here and actually start real lives. You're hurting those people because you're making them look as though they're not here for anything other than just coming here to steal our jobs and steal our money. That's why illegal immigration control is so important, because it hurts the people who actually are in dire straits. These people are legit looking for better lives. And when an illegal immigrant comes in and is a criminal, no less, like not just a regular criminal, a violent sex offender criminal, when you protect them, it says that I'm okay with a sex offending criminal being in my country, but I'm not okay with this person that's trying to do this legally. You want to fight a real fight? Turn your eyes to Iran. You want to look at real Nazism in the 21st century? Look at Iran. That is exactly how the Nazi regime operated in Nazi Germany. What you've been seeing for the last week or two is exactly how the Nazi regime in Germany. If they had technology like we have nowadays, they would have instantly turned the internet off so that you couldn't see what was going on. They would have said, we got foreign actors in here committing crimes and causing violence, so we need to get it under control. It's Israel, it's Mossad. Regardless if it is or not, the tactics they took to start taking care of it are very, very shady tactics. Because they didn't say that Mossad took their internet out. They didn't even deny taking their internet down. And that, to me, is a massive red flag. Like, that is a huge red flag of what they're planning to do. That tells me that they plan to do something so bad that if the world was to see, the world would invade that country. Not just one or two countries would invade them. The entire world would invade them if we were all to see what was about to happen to their people. And if you think that they were about to they're going to shut down the internet just to have a heart-to-heart chat with their people, then you've not even looked into the history of that regime, that specific regime, the Islamic Republic. They took power violently. They threatened to execute all the previous leadership. And then in turn, strangled the entire public into submission. And if you don't think they did, look at Iran pre-1979 and look at Iran now. Look at the two countries now. The 47 years of separation between the two countries. And you would be very scared of that kind of transformation. They went from looking like California to a straight up strong arming police state, like terroristic police state. I can understand, well, not understand it because, again, why would you want to stranglehold your people like that? It doesn't make sense. Why would you want the people that are pushing your traditional values in your country and trying to make your country go forward? I don't understand why you would treat them like they're like objects you could do stuff to. I don't understand that. But they put a stranglehold on their country. They took their country from looking like California and having a semblance of freedom to a straight up tyrannical, shut your mouth. I'm leading this country, so whatever I say goes. Oh, you got something to say about it? No, you don't. You're in a hole now. I mean, they probably were that same way before, but before it would have been a little bit easier to work in a better way of doing that system. But once they reverted to what they are now, it's almost no hope for that. That's how radicalized this current leadership of that country is. So you guys want to fight ICE, but you don't want to fight actual tyranny and fascism. Makes sense. And it's why I say, I don't care, ancient or not, you chose the wrong side when you started to fight our government to get criminals out of it or out of our country while sitting in your computer chairs and your little loungers watching a country actually living through fascism, like actually living through a violently sadistic tyrannical regime. You're watching it, but you're like, nah, ICE is worse. ICE is so much worse. ICE is so much worse than the Islamic Republic. I mean, look, they shot that woman full-blooded in the face while bypassing the 47 years of heinous treatment to human beings. Again, this is why I laugh at you all, and I wouldn't care if you all were swooped up en masse and deployed to a combat zone. Because then you would come home and you would fight Karenism as if it's a new war front. I would love to see you all get thrown into the suck and see how Karen you are afterward. You drop that Karenistic shit, I promise you. When your life actually gets put on the line, you drop it. You drop that Karenistic shit and you go back to being the Starbucks drinking, narrow-minded idiot you were before. And funny enough, if you were just to look at this lady or looking at this lady without listening to her and looking at her rage, this is kind of how my mom is. My mom likes doing goofy stuff. She's like very eclectic lady, tarot cards, super spiritual and religious. But she isn't, like, it's what's insane. She's almost 60 years old, and she's not even like this. She doesn't act like this. This is ignorant. As a matter of fact, she's on the other side like, I wish you idiots would shut up and go be productive while she's flipping tarot cards. As a matter of fact, she'll be the first one to tell you, well, if that lady wouldn't have put herself in the wrong situation and tried to run over an ICE officer, she wouldn't have holes in her head. My mom will say this to you because she has common sense and some semblance of intelligence that says going out protesting the federal government for stuff that a large number of the population asks for is probably not a good idea. Like, she would be making fun of these people. She should. To be honest, what my mom needs to do is she needs to go in and make react videos against these people. Because she would, I guarantee you, this is how the videos would start. And this is why it would be very popular. She would start off like she normally does, going in like a kind of non-pointed rant rave. And then she gets to essentially the point, talking about how people her age are okay with their entire lifetime and their parents' lifetime and grandparents' lifetime, everybody in their history, it's okay for their history to be undone by idiots. That's what my mom would be saying. And that's what my mom should do. My mom should go back to TikTok and start making videos again and doing react videos. Because she would be hilarious making fun of these people. And she's actually she's where I get my ability to make fun of people, to mock people, to do this, the Karen, like the memeing, the Karenism thing. Yeah, I see myself as pretty good at it. A lot of people don't like my mocking, but I think it's hilarious. I have a lot of people that love when I mock people like this, love the voices I create for them, the storylines, the dialogue. I have a lot of people that really enjoy my react content to people like this. And I get it from my mom. My mom is a world-class roaster. World-class roaster. Yeah. She would roast the chestnuts off these people. My mom would roast these people into oblivion. And I wish you would. I wish you would go back to TikTok and social media and do that. Just react content and roast these people into oblivion, because they need it. They need people their age to see the world for what it actually is. They can roast these people into oblivion. But again, these people don't care if they get roasted into oblivion. They're going to continue to say their ignorant things anyway. And that's what's hilarious. These people think that I mean, their voices really mean anything. We're walking out for America. Like, the thing of it is, there were a lot of us who we are very expressionist people. There are some of us that don't believe in any of that. They got lumped in with these people, with the things we do with our expressionism. Like, I've had somebody that says, how can you be a conservative? You have giant holes in your ears. Like, conservatives don't do stuff like that. No, but people who have their own minds do. Like, regardless of your politics, if I like the way something looks, I grew up watching carnies, watching the carnival thing, going to carnivals, Aladdin Shrine Temple carnivals and circuses. I love that. And some of my favorite people in carnivals were the freaks. I clicked with the freaks. The people with piercings and tattoos and holes everywhere, swallowing swords and stuffing things through their bodies. I loved them. those were like, that's what I clicked with, the freaks. And then I started running into African tribalism and the tribes of Africa and the different things that they would do to come into age, and kind of they were signifiers of things in their society, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed the gauging of the ears. I didn't so much enjoy the lip stuff, the mutilation of the mouth, because I already have an oral fixation and nasal fixation. I always constantly doing this and cleaning out my nose and wiping my beard. And I learned when I had my septum piercing that it was worse. My fixation on this was a million times worse. And it didn't help that even though I have my own thinking, people tried to lump me in with ignorance. Like, oh, here, see the nose ring, look, the nose ring, that means they're an idiot. It has to mean they're an idiot. No, I'm a performative person. I have logic. I can think of things in a conservative manner, but I'm an expressionist person. So trying to lump a bunch of people in, like, this nose ring right here, so you can tell they got liberal policies and ideas. No, that's not actually it. So y'all are doing the stereotype thing. All right, plopper. My leg was there first. He plopped against my leg, like, get that shit out of my way. I need to plop. But that's not how it works. You don't get to take a bunch of people who are just enjoy expressing themselves and say, you're liberal now. When did I get to make that choice? Because I'm neither liberal nor conservative. I'm Justin Moore, also known as Sickness, DT Sick, whatever, wherever you've met me from, that's what I'm known as. That's who I'm known as. I'm not known as, because you have a septum piercing, you're a liberal. Just because your ears gauged, you're a liberal. Just because you say you don't like illegal immigration and criminal immigrants, you're a conservative fascist Nazi. No. You don't get to label me and put me in a box because you put yourself in a box and gave yourself a label. It's not how this works. So please stop with the prejudices, because that's what it is. Like, we were literally told to not judge books by the cover, and we still are judging all these books by their covers. Well, I should be able to. I don't like the piercings and tattoos all over that person. Okay, that's your opinion. You can't make it a legal grounding and standing because your opinion, because that doesn't hold up in court. Opinions aren't legal standings. They're opinions. As a matter of fact, the only opinions that are deemed legal, like able to be used in the court of law, are that of a judge. Because judges give opinions after cases and things like that. Like, you can go through all of the Supreme Court stuff and see that those judges, they give opinion. It's called opinion because it's not strictly informational. It's kind of explaining the rationale on why a decision was made, why their decision is what it is. And that's essentially what it is. That's what a judge's opinion is. It's a summarization of their rationale of what led them to that decision. It's not like, my opinion about your whole case is it's stupid, it didn't make sense, I feel like you're just attacking people. While a lot of these judges have a way of making it sound like that, that's not the case. It's not how it works. It's not the case. These are legal opinions. These are all backed by legality, backed by the rationale of law. And those are essentially the only opinions that have kind of any weight. Because unless the opinion is more or less a critique, And you can tell when someone's opinion is more of a critique and when it's not, and it's just a straight biased opinion. Because all opinions are biased. Let's get that straight. All opinions are biased. All of them. Mine, yours, theirs, them's, he's, she's, they's. All biased. It's an opinion, it's biased. Even the judge's opinion is still biased. So this we need to stop. We need to stop they got nose rings, so they must be idiot liberals. Because I know quite a few conservatives, quite a few independents, and a lot of people that aren't even into politics in general that make these people look like choir children. They look like they just walked out of church. So let's not get into these overly prejudiced ways of identifying people. We don't need visual identifiers. We don't need to become even more lazy in identifying things. Let idiot people speak before you judge them. Let them speak. Unfortunately, you don't want to hear what they got to say, but you gotta hear it. You got to hear it. That's the key indicator of how ignorant or not they are. So don't judge them on their appearances. Judge them on what they're saying. If they're saying, fuck ICE, and then they're an idiot, then by all means judge them for their appearance. But if they look like they're about to say fuck ICE and they're like, fuck the Karens, then you can't, then your argument about how they look, it's out the window. It goes right out the window. Because I'll tell you, there are people with tattoos all over their face that would be up in a Karen's face. Like, you idiots need to go get a job. You need to get off these streets. These illegal immigrants need to be sent the hell home. They're hurting not just this society, but they're hurting any society that they go to. I know people that are just like this. As a matter of fact, ask the Hells Angels who they side with most. Ask them. Ask the Hells Angels who they side with. They're all racist, fascist, bigots. You can call it that if you would like, but I guarantee you, these dudes will tell you, hell no. America should be run by Americans, lived in by Americans, and if you want to come to America, you better be ready to become an American. Those dudes are tattooed up, head and down, head to toe, drinking beer and fighting constantly. But guarantee you, they laugh at liberal policy. They probably think it's the stupidest thing that anybody could have thought of. And the only liberal policy that's a good policy is one that allows organized crime to continue, which is all of them. But again, if you think a Hells Angels biker is going to say, yeah, fuck ICE, fuck ICE. We want illegal immigrants here. Yeah, fuck ICE. No, they're not. They're going to be like, yeah, no, fuck them illegal immigrants. Get them out of here. You need help? We're right here with you. As they ride their motorcycles up and throw people over them like they're bounty hunters back in the 1800s. Ran my foot over some nuggets and my dude laid down like a whole, not really a whole stack. It was like I ran my feet over like a little pile of them, like little nuggets. Don't worry, Dean. You're about. Love that little guy. So adorable, man. I don't care if he poops on the floor. I don't want him chewing up the carpet. I mean, if it was my own house, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd let him chew on anything as long as it wasn't hurting him or detrimental to his health. I wouldn't give a shit. He could rip the walls down. I would just put stuff up to lean him back up. I love that little guy. Even his old tearing shit up. Again, here we go. Y'all have no idea what you... Hey, Karens. Can somebody clip this and pass it around to all the Karens in the world? Like, hey, look at that. Hey, look at that. Look at this. The actual Nazi regime fascist is doing his thing again today. Is doing his thing again today. So let's go. Where is it? Shorts. There we go. Right here. This right here. Oops. Oops. All you want, but I'll still say it. I don't know why that hadn't switched out yet. Prove me wrong. Look at their tactics and look at Nazi tactics. This right here. Iranian government and the Islamic Republic are the modern day... I didn't realize my screen wasn't switched back over. I thought I hit the button, but I guess not. But I'll still say it. And prove me wrong. Look at their tactics and look at Nazi tactics. The next step is to, well, they are rounding up all the protesters and murdering them. So, never mind. Never mind. That Islamic Republic are basically modern day Nazis. They are the modern day Nazis. And the Ayatollah Khamenei, or however the hell you say his name, that is the modern day Hitler. So you can stop calling white people, you can stop calling Donald Trump, you can stop calling people... My camera with you can stop crashed. All of us. That's why you don't see me, but you hear me. Racist, bigots. I like it. I like this clip. Because if it was true Nazi Germany, you would be put to death for even saying that. Since you aren't, try another argument. But yeah, that's a big deal. Iran. So yeah, Iranian government and the Islamic Republic. This right here are the modern. This is what I mean when I say you all are fighting the wrong people. The Islamic Republic are the modern day Nazi. They've been, I mean, over the course of the last 47 years, they kind of have been proving it by being some of the worst people to their people. I mean, they're worse. They're doing worse things than the Nazis did. You guys have to understand this. If you truly want to fight something that's evil and bad, you would be mad that we didn't respond when Donald Trump said it to begin with. And you wouldn't be mad because it was Donald Trump saying it. You would be mad because you're watching the modern day Nazi regime take hold in a country that nobody has expected it to take hold in. You're watching that level of fascism take hold in a country that nobody expected it to take hold in. But this is what these people do. This is what these religions do. They get these people to give up their lives for them. And then they turn around and treat them heinously. So this Karenism stuff, if you guys want to continue, if you guys aren't going to stop being Karens, then please direct it in the right direction. At least let somebody direct you in the right direction. Don't let your politicians, your favorite politician, direct you into a direction, because it's going to be wrong. And again, and this is how you can tell if they're going to mislead you. Now listen, this is how you can tell that your favorite politician is about to mislead you. Watch them very closely. Sometimes you can miss it. I mean, we happen to do look away sometimes. All you got to do is watch them, and the moment they open their mouth, they're about to mislead you. The moment their mouth opens, the second their mouth opens, they're about to mislead you. That's how you can tell your favorite politician is about to mislead you. They're about to start talking. The moment they start talking, the thoughts going into their head to tell them, you need to say this out loud. They're about to mislead you. That's how the system works. That's how it stays how it is. The moment their lips part to say words, they're going to mislead you. Just look at it like that. If their mouth is open, they're misleading. If you start thinking of it that way, you won't allow yourself to be pushed into thinking the wrong things. Because again, America is not Nazi Germany. There's no fascism that's going on in America. Maybe there's some small little organizations that are trying to keep that fascism, racism thing alive, but all-encompassing United States of America isn't fascist. The government's not fascist. None of it is fascist. The Iranian Islamic Republic, that's fascism. The way they're treating their people and doing their country, that is fascism. That is how fascist regimes work. And if you say, well, no, they're not white. There you go. You think to be Nazi and to do Nazi tactics, you have to be white. Nobody else in the world can do any type of Nazi-style tactics because they're not white. And that's why you all don't see it as the Islamic Republic is actually committing fascist-style tactics. You don't see it that way because they're not white. And if they were white, then you would see it that way. You would see it as Nazi tactics, and you would see it as fascism, and maybe your argument might switch from here to there. Maybe if the Iranians were white, then you all would be arguing and crying like, oh my God, we got to stop the fascism across the world. Look at all these white people being murdered by fascism. Maybe that's why you all aren't paying attention to Iran. It's because the fascism is happening to a group of people that aren't white. And if they were white, then you'd be arguing over it. Then you'd be mad about it and telling our people, our country and our government to do something about it. But the Hispanic people in America that are being kidnapped by ICE, they're not white, and we're still fighting for them. No, you're fighting for them because you think that you're gonna be one of the ones they don't rob, murder, rape, and just completely dismember. You think that just because you support them, they're not gonna come breaking down your door and kicking in your doors and stealing and murdering and raping your family. You think because you showed them the support, they're not going to do it to you. That's why you show them the support here. It's not anything for any righteous moral code. It's none of that. It's because they're in your backyard, and if you show them your support, they might not target you. That's why you all are doing it here. It has nothing to do with human rights and civil rights. That is a non-starter in this conversation. What's truly happening is A, you don't want targeted, and B, in your mind, you need somebody to cut your grass, clean your pools, clean your house, wipe the shit up off your kid's ass. While you sit and drink your Stanley Cup, talking about how hard it is to be a stay-at-home mom. If they were white, you all you'd be deploying yourselves. I'll just say that.
I talked to you guys about the Karen evolution chart. This is a fully evolved swamp hag. This is it. You're seeing it right here.
With fascism.
Starting at 2 p.m. local time, we'll start a wave of walkouts across the nation.
Send a clear message that we demand freedom from this hostile and lawless takeover of our country.
Then we'll
so do I. So you get
start
rid of these people.
walking in.
Congress has the power to remove a tyrant from office. It's not an option, it's their sworn duty.
So at 3 p.m., we'll start.
What's funny is most of these people have never even read deeper than page 1 of any political science anything. These people have never studied any political science of anything. They saw a hot button point that they really liked and they latched onto it. Go ahead, do this. Because those of you that actually have jobs won't have your job anymore. If you walk out of your job as a sign of protest, your job will be done with you. I promise you. I can guarantee you, those of you that are working, you will not have jobs any longer. Because your jobs are probably tired of it. They're tired of you not showing up to work, hurting the rest of the team because you think you're some civil warrior. You're not. You're not remotely close to being a warrior. And day one of basic training would show you all that. The moment the shark attack happened, you all would be fucking shitting your pants. I want to go home. That's exactly what you all would be. 3 or 4 drill sergeants up in your friggin' face, just get on your face, Brian. You better not be doing anything. Don't look at me. You better get on your face. Put that bag over your head. Put that bag on the ground. Put it over your head. On the ground. If you got that up in your head for the next half hour, 45 minutes, y'all crying to go home. How do I know? I watched it and I laughed like a giddy child. I laughed. My internals just could not take how comedic it all was. Because I'm just... Don't say a word, just stare forward. Basically, find a dot on the ground and stare at it. Stare at it, let your eyes water and feel like they're going to fall out of your head. You don't show a sign, a bit of weakness at all. But you got these Karen types, these types of people, and they just didn't have. They all didn't have only had boobs. No, some of them were this kind of that turd right there. That turd. These are the people. You send them to basic training, they're going on suicide watch because they can't handle a shark attack. You send these people to the military, they're on suicide watch for the entire time they're there because they can't take any of it. These people aren't walking out of anything. Not at all. And if they do, they will be fired. I promise you, their jobs, and the ones that do have jobs, their jobs are done with them. They've not been a productive member of their job for weeks now. When they're there at their job, all they want to talk about is stupidity, ignorant, tyrant bullshit. They don't want to talk about any causes that actually matter. So I guarantee you, the ones of these that have jobs will no longer have jobs after today. And the ones that still have jobs, you won't see them out tomorrow. You'll see them at work. You'll see them shutting up and going to work because this isn't going to do anything. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Funny enough, like J6 shouldn't have happened. We shouldn't have gotten to that point. But these people aren't going to... You think these people are going to be the January 6th replacements? You think these are the Patriot replacements? You've not actually seen the movie The Replacements, because it was the team that the replacements were actually really good. See, so if this is your replacement, go watch the movie. Go watch the movie and then go back to your recruitment, because this is not it. These are not the replacements. These are not the January 6th Patriot replacements. If you want J6 Patriot replacements, then you're going to have to do better than this. You're going to have to do better than this. I guarantee she spent 3 hours working on makeup, finding the perfect outfit, something that's going to draw the guys in. They're going to look at my boobs, my halter top boobs, or my spaghetti strap boobs, and my over makeup face, and my really done hair. I'm going to say it's no filter, no makeup. This chick took 3 hours. You know what I did before I went live? I jumped into the shower, fed my rabbit, threw on some thermals, opened up a web page, like, oh my God, it starts already. And I went live. That's exactly what happened. Like, I got class in 3 hours, but this is starting earlier. Yeah, these people like this, they're not always prepared to stand for something. These people are never prepared to stand for something. They have to prepare themselves to stand for something, which is why she probably spent 3 hours doing her makeup, getting the perfect outfit, making sure her hair was all nice, perfectly situated in her living room to be able to these people are so inorganic, it's hilarious. It's so funny how inorganic these people are. And you gotta listen to me because I put makeup on before I started talking to you. At least I worry about what I look like before I talk to you. These people are so hilarious. Like, you took 3 hours to put on makeup, do your hair, find a perfect outfit, just to tell me that you're about to walk out of your job. Like, nobody cares. Really, nobody cares. Because you're going to be fired from your job. There's no excuse line on your day off of work that says, I'm excused for protesting my government. No, you're pretty much headed toward a unemployment line. But y'all don't care. You're going to head to the unemployment line and then start siphoning off welfare dollars. Let's be serious.
Congressional offices to demand impeachment and removal.
We are peacefully demanding
The Karen Inquisition. Oh my God.
The Karen Inquisition.
our representatives filed their own articles.
I've been saying this for like a month
against
now.
Trump and senior Trump officials.
And we are demanding that they force a vote.
Donald Trump has committed tyranny and obstruction of justice.
Has
Committed tyranny?
Force is an act of
Did she really say Donald Trump has committed tyranny? It's a chargeable offense on a... We're charging you with tyranny. Like, oh, and this is the funny thing about these people. This is why I feel like I'm just continuing to build content just around Karenism, because this stuff is ignorant. Like, if you listen to yourself, you had to have heard how dumb you are. Because I listen to myself all the time, and even my stuttering, I know how stupid I am. I know how dumb I am, and how ignorant some of the things I say are. I mean, I say them anyway because I don't care for the dumb shit to be said. Whatever, you're laughing at me. Oh, it hurts my feelings none. I don't care. People are laughing at me with me. Don't slander me. That's one thing. Do not slander and try to don't accuse me of things that you don't have evidence for. That's the only thing that's going to get me on your bad side, or get you on my bad side, and take me from comedic to chewing you up. I mean, I will chew a person up that tries to slander me. And I'll do it with evidence and anything that I can find. But these people, my goodness, this is like its own comedy reel.
reason.
We're charging them with tyranny. Like, you charge him with treason, but then you can't charge him with treason either, because y'all don't know the definition of treason. So you can't file charges against people that you don't know what the charges are. You don't know how these charges would come about. You don't know what leads up to them.
On January 20th, we are are
No, it's not. That's like, okay.
telling our congressional officials that it is their duty right now to impeach, convict, and remove.
Impeach, convict, and remove.
Impeach, convict, and remove.
Jesus Christ.
Post your plans.
They all have the same talking points too. Impeach, convict, remove. That's because they're all on Signal, reading the internal chats of their favorite politicians. That's just how it works. Hey, what are you doing? We're not digging holes. Maybe one day I'll get you like a sandbox and you can jump in there and dig holes in it. I actually did think about that the other day. I wanted to, when I'm not so poor and broken, can actually do things and get stuff. I want to get him a sandbox, my little guy, a sandbox, because he likes to dig. He loves to dig holes and dig into things. And I think it'll cancel his wanting to dig holes in the carpet and all the corners of the rooms if I get him a sandbox that he can just dig holes in. You just straight up just get in it, dig holes, because he loves it. For some reason, hey, no, you. Not gonna. Just said I'll get you a sandbox to dig holes, and didn't tell you to dig a hole in my carpet. It's not my carpet. You friggin' demon. No, I love you. You're a demon. Holes in the. Here, evil. Come here. Here. He's got static all in his hair and it's like standing up all over the place. All right. Now that I forgot what I was talking about, back to this.
I cannot wait to watch this tomorrow. Oh my.
Oh, I'm gonna cover it.
Tomorrow is going to be amazing.
You're right.
This is insane.
Out,
It's going to be a good day.
Using the
It's gonna be a
hashtags
fucking great
#FreeAmerica
day tomorrow.
remove the regime.
And document your visits on the
All
target
these
with
ignorant
those
people,
hashtags so that
I'm
we
just
can
gonna watch
multiply
it.
the movement.
Find your local congressional office, sign up, and receive articles of impeachment, and find all the information you need at removetheregime.com.
We'll see you on January 20th.
We'll see you on
And she's picking tarot cards. Oh my god. Man. These people are actually scary. They're the ones that say get in the train before you're ever seen again. Oh no, they'd kill you if they could. They'd kill you if you could. And that's why it's important to make sure they don't get power. It is. It's very important to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because if they do, then they'll do whatever they can. Like whatever the extent is that they can operate at, they will do that.
We'll see you on January 20th.
We'll see you on January 20th.
All right.
Thank you for standing up for our democracy.
We can all do this. It's time.
You do
It's
you follow these people?
Oh, God.
Look at that poster. That is the most communistic poster I've ever seen. Like they're not hiding these tactics
Time. Oh, God.
at all.
So this is how they get gassed up on TikTok and then they cause a bunch of problems.
These are y'all just go to Google. Go to Google and search Soviet Union propaganda posters. Nazi Germany propaganda posters. Well, let's do it together. Nazi Germany propaganda posters. Okay. That's the Nazi Germany propaganda. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. Oops. Oops. Let's see if ChatGPT sees the same thing. It kind of hinted around, I mean, basically, it hinted at some of the stuff. It hinted at some of it, Soviet Union, anti-imperialism, and a lot of this stuff is during the time of the Nazis and the Soviet Union. Watch, I'm about to sway it. With this right here, I'm going to sway this thing's opinion. Watch. Here we go. He's already said, the short answer was yes. Watch. Up here, it started to agree. It wanted to, it's trying to point away from it, the Nazi, but it contradicts itself up here. Why it feels fascist to people. Why it's not Nazi propaganda. Why it feels more like Soviet revolutionary. Again, it's so easy to cause AI to change its message, change what it thinks, and change how it views. So if I was to put all three of these images together and say, if you were to guess, taking all the words and all the known history away from these three images, would you think that they're essentially for the same thing, for the same things? And it would probably say, yeah, not looking at the words and the known history, just based on style alone, these three pieces would closely align with one another. And they are supposedly three different arguments. One is for the Soviet, is propaganda for Soviet Union labor revolution. One is for Nazi Germany and Nazism, and one is essentially fighting against both of these things. So again, all of this stuff can be used to manipulate everybody. This propaganda looks like Nazi Germany propaganda, looks like Soviet Union propaganda, but also at the same time, it's only taking pieces of it so that it can have its same effect. So if you got to use parts of old hateful propaganda to push your message, and your message is probably not good. And this is why I'll tell you that these people have no clue what they're doing. They're literally throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. They know that this poster looks more like Nazi propaganda than it does something that anybody should want to get involved in. What, just because you made the page blue makes it better? Yeah, because red, white, and blue. Oh, man. Such a genius color palette you chose there. But you made the entire poster look like a Nazi propaganda poster. Or CCP propaganda. North Korea propaganda. Like, you literally look like an oppressive propaganda right now. This looks like oppressive propaganda. So you all aren't helping anything with this stuff. You really aren't. You're making it so much worse than you ever could imagine.
God. So this is how they get gassed up on TikTok, and then they cause a bunch of problems. And I think that if things continue getting worse, where they are kind of getting worse, you are probably going to see the military be brought in, especially with them like running around trying to like identify and attack random people. Like, it's really, really bad.
The Pentagon is reportedly preparing to deploy 1,500 soldiers to Minnesota as protesters continue to cause chaos for immigration agents in the state.
Our own Matt Finn joins us live from Minneapolis with all those details. Matt, good morning.
Yeah, finally.
Good morning to you, Rachel. Well, we're entering week 3 of the unrest here in Minnesota, and the clashes between protesters and law enforcement are showing no signs of slowing down.
Look at them all.
Another tense scene Saturday outside the federal ICE facility. Law enforcement holding the line against angry protesters who can be heard screaming, "Kill yourself," and "Un-American" to officers.
Ignorant. It's freaking ignorant, man. Kill yourself. Kill yourself. And it's funny enough, if somebody was to tell them that, they would try to do anything possible to get them canceled off the world. If you tell one of these people to kill yourself, they would do anything in their power to get you canceled. That's hate speech. You can't say that.
Way here if more violence escalates. And Governor Tim Walz also mobilized the Minnesota National Guard.
I'm telling you. These politicians, they're purposely getting all this to happen. It's partly a distraction. It's so easily identifiable as a distraction. Because while the rest of the entire country is watching this, there are lots of things happening in the background. I mean, I'm kind of guilty paying attention to this. But I also do pay attention to what everything else that's going on too. I have so many avenues of approach to information. I don't just watch this. This is hilarious to me. This is so funny how dumb these people are and how misplaced their fight is. That's why I'm covering it, because it's hilarious. It's hilarious how easily people can be pushed into ignorance.
Yesterday, the Guard staged to support local law enforcement if needed.
Again, as I said yesterday, where's the American flags? You all are talking about being so pro-America, but you're not carrying a single American flag. There's no American flags amongst you. So you can't say you're fighting for America when you're not even flying an American flag. At least the J6 rioters, they had American flags. They were wearing United States military uniforms that they got when they separated from the military. They look like patriots. These people do not look like patriots. They look like third world protesters, invaders from a third world country. These people look like third world civilians. You're not fighting for America. If you were, you would have American flags. You wouldn't be carrying some random flags about nonsense. Your flag wouldn't be fuck Trump. It would be the American flag.
And says it's ready to respond.
Because if your words are to be believed, Trump doesn't represent America. And if Trump doesn't represent America, you should be flying American flags. There's no American flags amongst any of this. You aren't America first people. If you were, there would be American flags all over the place. That's all you would see is American flags everywhere. Again, J6 didn't need to happen, but at least they were carrying American flags. At least they were carrying American flags pushing for American stuff. No racist hate in men in Minnesota. You are being the hateful racists of Minnesota. You are the hateful racists of Minnesota.
To locations across the metro area. Now, yesterday, protests continued outside the ICE detention center.
Again,
and there was
there's
also
three camera shots. 3 long, extended camera shots, and not a single American flag in one of them. And as a matter of fact, the first shot, I mean, not the first shot, but one of the earlier shots, there's American flag. Woohoo! We got one. We got one American flag of all of the shots that we've seen. Of all of this stuff. You see more flags for other things than you do American flags. We've seen one American flag in the entire, and this is days of covering this stuff. In days of covering this stuff, I've seen 3 American flags over the entire time. 3. And that's in every video that's being covered. Every video. I've seen very little Americanism stuff. Very little. I haven't. 3 American flags of what I've seen. It tells me, okay, we're still in America. Okay, got it. We're still covering protests within America. And obviously, you read the signs are in English, ice out. You can see stuff like that. But I shouldn't have to read the signs to know that this is an American protest. I should see American flags. Like in other countries, you see waves of their flags. Old flags, new flags, original iterations of the flag. Do you see them flying their flags? You don't see these professionally printed out signs, these professionally made picket signs. It's almost like you guys are protesting worker injustice at a job. That's what it feels. It feels more like you're trying to unionize a job and you're not protesting injustice in politics. Because if this was actually about injustice in politics, you would see tons of American flags. You would see American flags flying like crazy. Like you did in J6. Literally, J6, that's all you've seen was American flags, just POW flags, missing in action flags, KIA flags. Like amalgamations of military and U.S. flags. So you see the visuals that show you that this is a fight for the country. This is a fight for the injustices that are happening within the country. Whether you agree with it or not, whether it was needed or not, it's all irrelevant. It's the fact that the difference in that and the difference in this is night and day. You can't tell what they're protesting for here. You have to read their signs and agree with their picketing. They're picketing like they're picketing a job. They're not treating this like they're standing up to injustice in the civil war world. That's the difference. That is the night and day difference in this. Neither should be happening, or this shouldn't be happening, and J6 shouldn't have happened. But you can tell what was being fought for. You can see it. You can see it in every single one of the camera angles. There's not one camera angle that didn't have an American flag or some type of arrow saying patriotic fight right here, because there is none of that here. There is none of that here. There's just straight up hate, anger, and fueled outrage. There's no patriotism here at all.
Protesters at City Hall. President Trump has warned that he may use the Insurrection Act here in Minnesota, which would allow the
That's what they have to do. Like, I don't know why it's taken so long. I think every day.
See, J6, there's a reason it's called January 6th, because it happened in a single day. They activated the Insurrection Act on that day. So why is it taking so long for this? Why is it actually taking so long for this? And it's by design. It's by design. It's by design. The other side was trying to prove how violent and not good for the country that side was on January 6th. And this side is doing the same thing. They're trying to show everybody how bad these people get. It's all by design. It's literally all by design. That's why they haven't enacted this Insurrection Act.
It doesn't happen, it just makes him look worse. And I'm shocked that it hasn't happened by now. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Government to use military troops to bring calm. Meanwhile, a statewide day of action is scheduled for this Friday. Activists are asking people not to attend work, school, or make purchases. And the St. Paul Federation of Educators is also asking people to participate in that day of action Friday. Back to you guys in New York.
All right, Matt Finn, Live Force in Minneapolis.
Jesus.
Matt, thank you. It's just continuing to ramp up and up and up. And it's important as we continue to cover this story to remember how we got here. The reckless open border policies of Joe Biden led to...
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that none of this would have happened if they had just basically detained these guys whenever they got arrested. Like, it's this entire...
And that's why I say it's all by design. It's all by design. They didn't detain them when they got arrested because it's purposefully, like they let them back out on the streets on purpose. And it's not because they disagree with them being detained and deported. No, it's because both of these sides know that in order to keep their power, they have to keep us not paying attention to them, not paying attention to the inner workings of what they're doing. So they do things like that. The people will be arrested for pretty bad crimes. And instead of being held, knowing that they're an illegal immigrant, violent criminal that should be deported, it's like, okay, well, we need to keep this agenda thing going. Like, they're starting to pay attention too much of what we're doing. So we need all the eyes back off that. So why don't we just pretend to fight each other with this whole immigration thing? And we'll just have them arguing and fighting about that instead of looking at what we're doing. So, and that's what's happening. That's literally what's been happening for weeks and months now. And since Donald Trump took office, is we've been fighting amongst each other about the things that should be happening in this country. And we're not paying attention to everything else that's going on. We're only paying attention to this.
And everything about this is like so
by design.
Unnecessary.
The criminals,
I don't even know why.
Violent illegal alien criminals
it's insane.
that ICE has gone into place.
I'm telling you why. You've been lucky enough to never have to pay attention to the interior of this stuff. A lot of us, that's all we've ever had for more than 20 years of our existence, our adult existence, as not being able to look, is we don't get to look away from this stuff. We are meant to pay attention to it all the time. And the reason you don't understand it now is because it's been going on for so long that you would have to start digging deep into the history of all this stuff and our politics and our political structure to see why this stuff happens constantly, consistently, and almost like clockwork. It's like, and go. And go. It's that. We're watching it. And you're just getting tuned in a little bit too late. Not too late, but you're getting tuned in at the point where it's been happening for so long. It's raising questions like, what is happening? How has this been happening for so long? Because it's been happening for so long.
Places like Minneapolis, a sanctuary city, to clean them up. And you had yesterday Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff, really railing on Minnesota's leaders, accusing them of aiding and abetting anti-ICE violence. Watch this.
Oh, here we go.
These are acts of insurrection against the laws of the United States and against the sovereignty of the United States. Foreign illegal aliens who broke into this country, who then raped children, who committed human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, protected, shielded, sheltered, coddled, defended at every level by the leadership in Minnesota. And then when ICE goes out to make these arrests, they unleash violent mobs to attack, assault, and impede ICE officers. And they refuse to allow the city police to protect those ICE officers in the conduct of their duties.
The police, some of the police have either, a lot of them, I think it was 23 of the police officers basically resigned from the Minnesota police force, and 18 of the 23 went to join ICE.
Willfully aiding and abetting this violence.
But the key word they're talking about insurrection there
they
from
switched
Stephen
sides.
Miller.
I thought they were against that.
Well, and if he's talking about insurrection, maybe we're going to get the Insurrection Act.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Who knows?
Remember what I said? They're all on the same side. Same side that was against the Insurrection Act being used against them are now wanting to use the Insurrection Act on the equivalent of January 6th.
From President Trump.
Because remember, January 6th, somebody died. Somebody died in this too. So these two events are equidistant now. January 6th and this, they've balanced the scales. They've balanced the scales with this stuff. And that's what's funny, is that now they're not against the Insurrection Act.
But I couldn't help but think, we're a day before honoring and celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. What was his message? Nonviolence, peaceful protests. Doesn't appear like we're seeing any of that in Minnesota.
Y'all obviously failed to remember that when the FBI declassified the files against Martin Luther King, it turned a lot of people that were supporting him against him. A lot of people that thought he was an ultra Christian turned against him because, oh my God, Martin Luther King was into prostitutes and just having orgies and doing sex stuff. Oh my God, he's not a good person, a good role model. Forgetting that they're also sinners. That's why no one really cares about Dr. King anymore. It's because the FBI purposely released files that made him look like a bad person. And not like somebody who was just a sinner. He was just another sinner. He was another sinner trying to look out for human beings. Got treated like a criminal. But nobody cares about Dr. King anymore. The FBI made sure of that. When they declassified those files and they made him look like the stuff that they declassified made him look really bad. And to the wrong people, they no longer support Dr. Martin Luther King. Even though what he was fighting for was a great cause. Whoop-de-friggin-do. He was a sinner. Oh. Heaven forbid, he's a sinner. Again, this is why I do not like the whole religion thing.
No, not at all.
A sinner. Oh, you're a sinner.
On the left.
I'll be a sinner. It's much more enjoyable than being friends with you, half you people, all you people.
Because they get away with it. They got away with it.
All you religious types who think your religion is the only way people need to live. You're the reason you have no friends and no one wants to be around you.
With the Tesla bombings, they got away with it with BLM. They got away with it with Trump. They get away with it every single time. That's the reason why they do this. It's because they can. And I think
It's by design.
That's the problem. And like, you know, whenever you compare that to like after January 6th, you know, they went down and they tracked down every single fucking person in January 6th. They put a ton of those people in jail and they went completely scorched earth on them. But for some reason, the idea of doing it to these people is like, oh no, you can't do that. Why not? Who decided this?
And that's why I'm saying it's all by design. Just the fact that the complete imbalance in which the Insurrection Act is used. Okay, so it's okay for you to use it and go, like you said, go scorched earth on the January 6th rioters, but these people are actively impeding law enforcement. January 6th was a protest about politics and the injustices of politics. The ICE stuff and the law enforcement stuff, that's that. It's to do with the law. January 6th wasn't about the law. I mean, it was. It was about the law of the election law, but January 6th rioters weren't fighting law enforcement because of what law enforcement was doing. January 6th was happening because of what politicians were doing, and that was the direct response of what they were doing. This is not the same. January 6th is not the same as what's happening now. They are mirroring, because while January 6th got decimated, this is allowed to keep going, fueling, and continuing on. That's the only similarity in them, is the fact of the complete imbalance in which they're being handled. This stomped out instantly. This has gone on for weeks now, months, a year. So that's why I'm saying this is all by design. This is one team playing us for fools.
Activists who will create violence, create chaos, trying to destabilize the things that
I seen this action on stream yesterday. That's why this all sounds familiar.
He won.
I wanted to talk about it.
Saw people in power. Yeah, I know.
Democrats recognized they were on the wrong side of it. And so now what they're saying is we don't like the way you're doing it. And again, they find themselves on the side of
this is that same retard that we saw earlier that was causing problems. Yeah, because they're louder. What they did to January 6ers was bad. That's why they can't go that hard. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that really, I mean, here's the truth.
This is why I say that if you're going to do this, you got to go all the way. You can't go half-assed on one side because he's right in what he's about to say. He's 100% right in what he's about to say. Very important.
Those like MAGA people will never even consider doing another January 6th. And the reason why is because the first time they did it, they ruined the lives of the people that were there and they killed one of them. So the ultimate result is that January 6th happened, but it came at such a huge cost that they'll never do it again.
Kill Mar-a-Brego, they find themselves on the side.
And that's one of the biggest differences in this is that one life was too much for the January 6th people. One life. And that's weakness. No, that's a realization that if you're wanting what you're wanting to get done, you got to go about it differently, way differently. You cannot storm the Capitol type stuff. That's what they learned. That's what the January 6th people learned. The one life was not worth that cost. Got to find a better way to do it. And don't think that I can guarantee you the January 6th people, they're not, oh man, we're not patriots no more. We're not gonna speak up. No. Guarantee you, they're still the same patriotic people that they were when they got arrested for J6. The difference is you're not gonna hear them talking about it. They're also probably on Signal with their little chats, talking about whatever, talking about what happens if another J6 needs to happen and what they can do to avoid another J6. Because the one life was not worth it. The life of that one veteran who actually fought for this country was not worth it. And that's what they saw. That's the difference in this. They saw that the one life was not worth losing your head over when you could do it so much better in a way different way. And a lot less violence. That's the difference. These people, they've been shown you're willing to let your sacrifice go to naught because you're not going to change anything. Your side that you're fighting for is not going to fight for you whenever you're the one with the bullet in your head. They will not fight for you. Because how many of those politicians that are on this side are actually down here doing this? Actually out here in the suck? None. Ilhan Omar, she climbed up on the back of a truck stood there while some lady was gabbing her mouth, looking very uncomfortable. Did she march? Maybe for a second while the cameras were rolling. And when the real protests kicked off, she's like, nope, can't do this. I don't want to go to jail. Because they could actually take me to jail for what these people were about to do. Again, these people aren't fighting for any of us. No matter what side you're on, none of them are fighting for us. And the difference in this and the J6 is I guarantee you J6 people, they've become smarter when their tactics when standing up the next time will not be the same. And that I can promise you, because on one side you have true patriots, veterans, people who were trained in tactics to eliminate treasonous activities, unjust governments. Like, we were trained to bring these things down. So I can guarantee you the next time that the patriots have to stand up, it will not be the same and it will not look like this. He's right. The J6 riders will never do something like this again. What he's not saying is that their tactics will change, they will evolve, and the next time that the country needs truly defended, you won't even know it's being defended. You just won't hear about it being attacked. I know, but that was a bomb statement I just made. I loved it too. It came into my head, it came out of my mouth, and it was on point. I loved it. These aren't patriots. You don't see flags. You don't hear America first. This isn't America first activity. You don't hear any of that.
Of all the people
you see anger, emotion, rage.
That there were murders, rapists, as Stephen Miller said.
You see everything that is not America.
Crimes, people that every parent would want off the streets. I think the political question here is, this is not talking about affordability from the Democrat side. Is this really what their voters want.
This is the reason why the Democrats fixate on this and fixate around protecting criminals, is because those are the voting blocks that they need to activate in order to win elections. So what their mentality is that they want to bring in a bunch of random illegal aliens and low-income, low-skill immigrants so they can make these people dependent on social systems and then hold the social systems hostage for them to vote on them. That's the strategy, is that you basically create an entire community of people that are effectively dependent on the government.
He's in his love
they
mode.
Have to continuously vote for you.
He's in his lovey-dovey mode.
Dependency. That's what's going on.
Maybe they're voters on the far left, but what
pretty
about
obvious.
The people in the middle? And again, another thing is Minneapolis is the home of Ilhan Omar, a deeply, deeply.
And again, and that's also what's so hilarious about this. Minnesota is supposedly Ilhan Omar's home. That's my home. I'm a true Somali Minnesotian. Where's she at? Where is she at? She is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. She's not up on some truck over here in the distance like, you can't do this. She's not over here hiding, so you can't do it. And she's nowhere around here. She's hiding up in like the top floor of a building like this, looking out a window. Hope they don't come for me next. Hope they don't come for me next. That's where she's at. That's where the leaders of this stuff is at. They're hiding up in an office somewhere, chilling, kick back, maxing, relaxing, ask them how they're doing. They say, oh, super. Thanks for asking. They don't care what's going on down here. It's not their priority. Their priority is to steal from you. Their priority is finding a new scheme to steal from you. That's why I say this country is not oppressed in any way other than financial oppression, monetary value oppression. That's all the oppression we see here. We truly don't have civil oppression anymore. It's people oppressing each other. And if you want to call that an overwhelming amount of oppression, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Maybe you should move out of the neighborhood you're in if you feel like there's an overwhelming amount of civil oppression, because it's financial oppression. That's what we're living through in this country, a financial oppression. It's not anything civil. Oh my God. If you want to fight real oppression, Iran, North Korea, like these places have real oppression. China, like these places have real oppression. If you want to fight something, fight real oppression. And unfortunately, it's not here. America doesn't have real oppression. We have financial oppression, which is also another way of saying class oppression. And that's not a civil thing. That's a making sure that the people that they trust to have monetary power are always in the place to be able to control everything underneath it. That's the oppression that is the finance world. This financial oppression is just us, the nobodies, the always hungry and always thirsty. We always have to thirst and hunger for more. Because if we don't, then there's too many of us up here comfortable, and we're not buying out of control. Like, they can't sell year over year products to us, make no changes, no quality increasing, but still dumping out a new product, so much more money. And that's the oppression we live through. We live through a financial oppression. That's it. The Western world lives in a financial oppression. We don't live in civil oppressions. We don't. We truly don't. There's so many other countries around the world that have the true to form oppression that these people think that we have. And maybe that's the whole point, is that they know if they were to pay attention to any other oppression around the world, is that they would be apt to want to spend their money on it and fight against it. I don't know. I'm going to meme the logic because it's fun, but I'm not going to, I truly I can't begin to understand these people's mode of thinking. I can meme it and parody it all day long. But it's truly a mystery that I'm stupid, not very intelligent at all, have limited to zero reach, and yet I'm still able to see things around the world and know what fight I should fight and what fight doesn't really garner any type of response. Because this is a non-starter, no response. Like, fighting against ICE and illegal immigration, whatever. This whole thing is stupid to me. This is not a fight that should bear any of my energy. I mean, memeing it and joking about it and jesting on these people and turning them into comedic value, that's fun. That's where I find the fun in it. So I can basically turn and go and say, like, hey, Hamamene, why is your internet still off? I think you guys have control of your country, right? I mean, Iranian Republic, the Islamic Republic, you guys said you have control. Everything's all good and hunky-dory. But your internet's still off, yo. Your people can't talk about what's going on. You're not reporting on all the supposed terrorist attacks by the Israelis and Mossad. I mean, your internet's not back on. Like, a big scathing problem with that. Their narrative of right now is the fact that they're saying everything's under control, but nobody can see in and nobody can talk outward. I mean, so to me, that's the fight that should be fought. Like, people that are actually being oppressed, like, give them our voice. Get their neighbors on the trail of these criminals. Because there's no trail here. This is all moot. And people need to really, really find a perspective that actually means something, because this is not one.
And she's become front and center on this as well.
To get ready for class.
Throw in some fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Class of 130.
$30 million richer now.
Wow.
And we're uncovering all this daycare fraud.
And that's another thing. That's partly why you're not going to see people like Ilhan Omar and AOC and those people. You're not going to see them out here in these places front run. Because their finances are very sketchy. You'll see them out here making a speech, and then you'll see them disappear. They'll disappear in the background. Their finances are sketchy, and if they start getting wrapped up in this, then their entire lives start to go under scrutiny, even worse than they are now. Because Ilhan Omar is already she's already got a bag full of investigations hovering over her right now. She can't chance being out here doing something stupid, end up in a holding cell, and then all of it is open for debate. All of it. They can't chance that. Their finances aren't easily backed up by evidence. That's why you won't see them out here. And that's both sides. Don't just think I'm going to go after Ilhan Omar. I'm going to go after all of them. And I've even said it many a times. Donald Trump doesn't seem like the person who's going to be in the Epstein files because of lewd acts to children. He'll be in there because of the blackmail on the finance world. Like, he's not actually the legitimate top tier businessman as we think. The same with the rest of them. Like, a lot of these people makes me I wonder where they get their riches from. And then as time goes on, it's all revealed. Oh yeah, they became rich off of the backs of literal slave backs of others, and their family or the reason monopoly laws exist. This is the kind of stuff that I assume Donald Trump would be in the Epstein files about. Is because the dude's got tons of finance crimes hovering around his family history. So I go after all of them because they're all gross. They're all very despicable people with very self-centered interests that aren't serving of anyone other than themselves. They're all bad. But unfortunately, it's just one of those things. It's a double-edged sword. Like will this stuff corrupt? Or will people be corrupt before they get into this stuff? It's such a double-edged sword when you deal with giving up your naturalistic freedom, which is pure chaos and pure anarchy, for some type of order and some type of security. Because that's what happens when we establish nations and states and country boundaries. We're saying that we're willing to give up this in order to have this. And I mean, it's safe to say that by getting rid of illegal immigrants, I mean, that's the government paying. Because illegal immigrants and criminal illegal immigrants, illegal movement of people that are trying to subvert a system in general is the embodiment of anarchy and chaos. Regardless of what your plans are when you got there, I just want to go there and work and make a better life. Okay, then why aren't you waiting in the other channels with the other people? Well, I think I'm better than those people, and I should. I'm not going to be given instant access, so why should I wait in line? I'm so much better than those people that come from the same country I come from. That's actually my neighbor, literally my neighbor. We came up here together, but I'm better than him or her or them. That's what they're saying. So even the people that are waiting in immigration and customs and doing it right, I guarantee you, they so wholeheartedly dislike these Karen types that are fighting it. Because why would they try to do it the right way whenever they could do it the wrong way and get protected by a mob of goons, a mob of goofy goons? Why? So illegal immigration and the mass movement of people you can't easily identify inserting themselves into your country is the embodiment of anarchy and chaos. This is what we've sacrificed. We've sacrificed anarchy and chaos, which is the natural form of free will. The natural form of free will is anarchy, pure anarchy, and chaos. We've sacrificed that to have what we have. And there are instances where we have to sacrifice even more to keep what we have. And this isn't sacrificing anything to keep what we have. This is actually sacrificing everything to usher in anarchy and chaos. I mean, I liked SLC Punk. I thought it was a good movie, but I don't want to live in the world. Don't want to live in the world. Pure anarchy and pure chaos is fun while you're in college and fun while you're a child, but it is not how adulthood works.
Know if in the long run this is going to work. This might be their BLM.
Well, it's a great point, Rachel. Because
Probably gonna go to the end of this video, and I got to get ready for class.
To bringing back the abolish ICE. That has not been a winning message. And you know, you can dislike Stephen Miller, and you can think that his rhetoric is too harsh, but factually, he's correct. The Minneapolis is protecting these illegal criminal aliens. Now, the mayor, Jacob Fry, argued.
That's how, I mean, y'all are late to the party. When Nick Shirley uncovered the massive amounts of fraud, that was the looking glass into the fact that they have been doing it for a long time. Because what happened? What happened? It was found out that they were being investigated for that stuff, for that kind of fraud in Minnesota since 2015. You all are so late. And I think she knows it. Maybe that's why she looked at the camera like, ooh, you shouldn't have said that, because we're the ones that are late to this party. We're acting like we're the front runners of the crusade. Her face is like, that's going to land hard. Hey, you're right, lady. Yeah, y'all are so far behind. Hurry up, catch up. Jeez Louise.
Is that they're not a sanctuary city. They have a separation ordinance. But at the end of the day, they do the same thing.
If you're not cooperating, it doesn't matter what you call it. Are you letting illegal aliens out into the community? If the answer to that is yes, then it's a problem. You can redefine it however you want. It's not the name, it's the problem.
They refused to cooperate with ICE. The White House called them out yesterday, saying Minnesota sanctuary politicians have released nearly 470 criminal illegal aliens back into American communities since
that's worse in California. It's so much worse in California. It's so much worse.
Criminal illegal aliens from terrorizing their state. I would just add to that, Rachel, there's also 1,360 violent illegal criminal aliens currently in custody in Minnesota jails held by authorities, and yet all ICE is saying is just hand them peacefully to us.
And the other reason why I think a lot of this happens with these politicians is because the politicians never get held accountable for it, right? Like, why can't you just, for example, charge the people that are in the government that are like making the decisions on this? Why can't you just charge them with public endangerment 470 times?
Asmon, you know the answer to this question. You really know the answer to this question. Stop being afraid to say it. I know that your fan base loves to play both sides and play the middle and just play the passive knowledge card, but use your actual knowledge as a meme and a jest and a parody. But you know the answer to this question, brother. You know the answer. You know why it's being allowed to happen. Because they are on the same team. All of them, blue, red, orange, purple, whatever political color they want to take up from the spectrum, they are playing for the same team. They all play for the same team. They're just fighting on whose playbook gets to be used.
No, I want to use the Democrat playbook this time. You've been using the Republican playbook for so long now. Well, can I use the independent playbook? No, your playbook is stupid.
They're all on the same team using just each other's playbooks. You need to answer this question yourself. Stop skating the middle. You know the answer. You know the answer to it.
Why you can't? Or you can just make up a new charge. I mean, it's very obvious that, like, I mean, and here's really what matters. Is it a good thing?
I mean, here's the charge. Democratic subversion. There's your charge. Democratic subversion. You're attempting to purposely subvert the democratic government, or attempting to subvert democracy and you list the reasons with evidence, because it's all evident. The fraud, the impeding and obstructing justice. I mean, it's all you you charge them with a main charge of subversion to democracy, and you just you list out everything that falls underneath it. And this charge alone should carry the same weight and consequence as being otherwise investigated and charged for treason, because it's the same thing. Like, if you want something that's not just straight up treason, which is like high probability of being sentenced to death, if you don't want to sentence these people to death but want them to sit and stew in the shit that they're stewing, then you charge them with something that doesn't carry a death penalty, like subversion of democracy, the attempted subversion of democracy. And who cares? Make it that goddamn long. I don't care. You can have it. Because I'll be the one that created it, and we all know it. I created the law. I gave you the law, the idea for, I mean, not really the idea. The idea has been there forever. But if you want something in a new age world that tells anybody coming up into that world that before you try to subvert democracy for your own personal gain, you probably want to read this law that's been put into place that is almost specifically for politicians and those in government, whether you're just a federal employee or whether you're an actual politician. And yes, the president of the United States can get charged with the exact same thing. Because put it this way, if an overwhelming amount of these people were able to subvert our government and get Kamala Harris into office, I bet you that law would pop up. I promise you. The next iteration of our almighty rulers will put in place a subversion to democracy, subversion of democracy law. There will be a federal law that is charged up to, but not equal to, the same charges that treason get. Because treason is, like I said, treason has a high chance of having the death penalty. High chance. The reason these people aren't being charged, because what they would otherwise be charged for would be treason, and treason carries a very high probability of being put to death. It's just how it works. So create a law called, it's called that, the attempt to subvert democracy. And it is a lifetime prison sentence. Or you get the choice to be sent anywhere in the world. But you never get to come back to America. And if you do come back to America, it will be looked at as treason, and then you will be put to death. That's what you do. That's exactly what you do. Put a subversion of democracy law, federal law, into place that carries, it's basically, you got to do the same thing what you have to do to get treason, but not the extreme ways, like selling information to foreign adversaries. If you're trying to do stuff like this, if you're obstructing justice to allow illegal immigrants, or you're paying... Stop, back up, let me start again. If you're a politician and you're standing and pushing violence against your own law enforcement, that should carry a charge of attempting to subvert democracy, which is a lifetime prison sentence, or you get to not on our dime, but you basically get given water, bread, and a handkerchief to wipe the sweat off your brow, and you get sent somewhere that's not here, and you're barred from ever coming back here. And if you do come back here, it is a treason charge, and you do get put to death. You want to subvert democracy and cause inner chaos and anarchy, then it should carry that weight. You choose prison forever, or you get sent away forever. Your choice. But regardless, you do something bad against this country afterward, it will be looked at as treason, and you will get the death penalty for it. That's your one and only chance. You put something like that into place, and something like that will be put into place. I'm telling you, something like that will be put into place. If not soon, soon later, it will be. It will happen. Whether it's this side or the other side putting into place, it's not going to matter. It will be put into place. And if it's not done right, it will be bad for all the good people. Because then they will be actually be able to go after their political opponents. But again, this stuff right here, this is the purposeful radicalization to break the law, to literally stand in the way of what the laws were put in place for. So yeah, you want to subvert democracy, you get to go away. Go to prison forever, or go anywhere else forever.
Well, it's a great point, Rachel, because you mentioned Ilhan Omar, who is leaning hard into bringing back the abolish ICE. That has not been a winning message. And, you know, you can dislike Stephen Miller, and you can think that his rhetoric is too harsh, but factually, he's correct. The Minneapolis is protecting these illegal criminal aliens. Now, the mayor, Jacob Fry, argues that they're not a sanctuary city. They have a separation ordinance. But at the end of the day, they do the same thing.
If you're not cooperating, it doesn't matter what you call it. Are you letting illegal aliens out into the community? If the answer to that is yes,
my little guy's all wore out.
You can redefine it however you want. It's not the name, it's the problem.
They refused to cooperate with ICE. The White House called them out yesterday, saying...
See, like I said, I watched this stream yesterday. I was in Asmon's channel yesterday watching this stream, so I kind of have some idea of what he's talking about. But I did not hear that yesterday, and that's exactly what I was just saying. Exactly what I was just saying.
But at the end of the day, they do the same thing.
If you're not cooperating, it doesn't matter what you call it. Are you letting illegal aliens out into the community? If the answer to that is yes, then it's a problem. You can redefine it however you want. It's not the name, it's the problem.
They refused to
that right there. It's not the name, it's the problem. And the problem is they don't know how to label subversion of democracy. They don't know how to, and I'm not talking about somebody's lost faith in it. I'm talking about somebody's actively impeding democracy and trying to go against it. And that's what these politicians are doing. And that's what I guarantee you, that's what they're mostly fighting with, is how they're gonna put a law into place that doesn't seem like it's a direct attack on somebody's political opponent. It doesn't seem like they're just going to use it to go after political opponents. I guarantee you they're working on trying to put something into place that stops this actual subversion of democracy. Because that's what's happening. It's a complete subversion of democracy, trying to undo what democracy stands for. And illegal immigrants, regardless if they're criminals or not, are the embodiment of anarchy and chaos. That's what they are. That's what it is the embodiment of anarchy and chaos. And those are the things that we sacrificed, aka natural free will, to create these boundaries in which we live in. If we don't want this kind of living, then we need to go to a place that has a more naturalistic free will. Then go there. Because there are still places in the world that have a closer relationship with true free will, real world IRL, IRL RNG is what I call it. There are places that still exist that have that. There are. You can go there. You have freedom of speech. You have freedom of expression. But you have to be willing for somebody that doesn't like what you have to say, what you do, and how you express to want to put an actual end to you. Because that's what natural free will is, and that's what you all are trying to bring about with this stuff. There is a balancing act in how this works and works symbiotically. It is a balancing act. You're given free will, but you can't be given complete 100% unadulterated free will. It goes all the way against what nations are and what they stand for. Again, look at a lot of the regions in Africa that have no governments. They are 100% pure chaos and anarchy. And that's why we aren't shown and being shown what the rest of the world looks like right now. And that's because if we were to truly see what anarchy and chaos looks like, these people wouldn't be fighting for that. They wouldn't be fighting for illegal immigration to be a thing in the United States. That's because they would see what that brings. They would see the pure anarchy, the pure chaos, what naturalistic free will is. There's a reason American people are very closed in seeing stuff. It's almost as if we are like North Korea and China and other countries that have a stranglehold grip on how they get to view the rest of the world. Because if you really looked out into the world across the vastness that is this rock, you would see other countries that actually live free will. They don't have finances. I mean, they do because they're all dirt poor. There's nothing. They have no progression system, no leveling up. Their boss fight is like each other. You did that. I don't like that. You better prepare for a boss fight. And then they go into a PvP fight. They go into a Street Fighter. That's what these countries are. These countries that have actual 100% free will. It's pure anarchy and pure chaos. It makes the Wild Wild West look like church on Sunday. That's how some of these countries still live today. We can't have that. We can't have that here. Because then we do become a third world country. We do. We become we become what we so much despise. We become third world. We let that happen here. We do. We become third world countries.
White House called him out yesterday, saying Minnesota sanctuary politicians have released nearly 470 criminal illegal aliens back into American communities since President Trump took office. ICE working every single day to remove the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens from terrorizing their state. I would just add to that, Rachel, there's also 1,360 violent illegal criminal aliens currently in custody in Minnesota jails held by authorities. And yet all ICE is saying is just hand them peacefully to us.
And the other reason why I think a lot of this happens with these politicians is because the politicians never get held accountable for it, right? Like, why can't you just, for example, charge the people that are in the government that are like making the decisions on this? Why can't you just charge them with
they're in
public
recipes.
endangerment 470 times? Why can't you do that? I mean, I don't see the reason why you can't. Or you can just make up a new charge.
Collection.
I mean, it's very obvious that, like, I mean, and here's really what matters. Is it a good thing that a person is allowing 470 criminals out into the public? Obviously, the answer to that is no, right? It's clearly not. So if there isn't a rule against it, then there should be. And if you can use something that, like, is this something that somebody should be held accountable for and should face punishment for? I think the answer to that is yes. So whatever the law is doesn't really matter to me.
I missed that. Hold on.
Decisions on this.
Criminal aliens currently in custody
In the government that are like making the decisions on this.
No, he actually,
for example, charge the people that are in the government that are like making the decisions on this.
He's kind of hitting on it. What I've been
Charge them
saying.
with public endangerment 470 times. Why can't you do that? I mean, I don't see the reason why you can't. Or you can just make up a new charge.
That's.
I mean, it's very obvious.
He just basically hit on what I just said.
Like what the value is behind that law. And if you're doing that, fundamentally, you need to have some level of accountability, one way or another.
No, he's pretty much echoing what I just said. And that's, if you want this stuff to actually stick and make politicians work for the people, you have to do something like that. You have to charge them with something like the attempted subversion of democracy. It's such a heavy penalty that it will not a single politician ever in the future will make those same decisions, will not purposefully try to radicalize their constituents to go out and basically cause chaos and subvert what democracy stands for. Because trying to usher in chaos and anarchy goes 100% against democracy. It goes against the whole idea of the system. So again, you charge them with attempting to subvert democracy. It's an easy charge, because if evidence is brought up that they're the ones out here inciting these people to come out and obstruct justice and stand in the way of law enforcement, like they have, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, AOC. It will stop the politicians from doing it, and it'll tell all the celebrities to shut the hell up. Go back to your trailer and get ready for the next scene. And it will put these people back into their lanes to where they should be.
Don't release them to the streets. It keeps the community safer, and we don't have ICE having to make arrests at large.
We know a lot of these protesters are paid, but among these,
and it's funny. It's like, I like to say things like the Soros playbook and paid protesters and rioters, and that's only because I've been privy to how a lot of this works from way back. Like, I mean, you kind of learn some aspects in the military when you learn about psyops in the military. You learn about it, and you start to ask questions about it. Like, wait a second, they actually use that stuff? Oh yeah, they use that stuff. And one of the things in the PSYOP world is for somebody like George Soros, who is a globalist. It's natural for him to be okay, so you guys need an enemy? Okay, I'll give you the enemy. And he gives things like Antifa or one of these other very radicalized groups that are essentially just domestic terrorist organizations. She has no idea what she's saying, and her saying it is just echoing Reddit sentiment. That's literally what it is. And I'm pretty sure he says that. I think I remember him saying that same thing. But she has no idea what she's saying. She's echoing stuff that people like me have been saying for 20 plus years. But instead of actually being one of the people that's saying this stuff and has been saying it for 20 years, she's saying what the people on Reddit are now talking about in regards to it. She's an airhead on the situation. And these two idiots, remember that look I said that she gave earlier? Same look. Same look. That same, oh, lady, why'd you say that? Oh, now our viewers going to know we're stupid. Whether it's the Soros playbook being used or not for all this is irrelevant. They have no right saying it. That's something for us to say. That's something for us to say because we've actually watched these playbooks be used against us for the last 20 plus years. And that's that look. That, oh, that's going to land hard.
Protesters
I hate this argument that they have about the protesters being paid. I think that's so stupid. It's so pointless. It doesn't add anything. I mean, what if they're all just...
He's right about that. Saying it on this platform doesn't mean anything. It means nothing when you're trying to say this stupid stuff on national stages. Now, if we finally get a hold of the dang Soros playbook and we can finally put it up in the air, then maybe these people won't be so stupid and look so dumb because they don't actually have the information we've been working with for 20, 30 years for some. But right now, these people they're causing more problems than they're actually adding help to a problem. And he's right. He's 100% correct about it. This does nothing for the whole situation other than give it a bad taste.
Unemployed losers. I feel like there's a much higher probability that they're just a bunch of unemployed losers. So we know they're getting paid. I don't think they're getting paid, if you want me to be honest. I don't think that's true. I think maybe a handful of agitators might be getting paid that are inside the protests. But
see, that right there tells me he knows more than what he's letting on. He's just trying to kill that dumb argument as if everybody, like he says, it's not like every single one of those protesters are being paid. Maybe there's a few agitators in there, but that's kind of the whole point. That's why I said the other day, and he's pretty much echoing it, is that they may latch on to the people that can get the influence and have the millions of followers. But then you think they're going to pay the millions of followers? No. They're going to pay the one person that can get the millions of followers. And that one person's going to push the followers. I mean, it's a tier system for them. They have to do it proxy-wise. They have to do it in a proxy. Otherwise, it's too pointed. It's like pointing straight up at them. They have to proxy all this stuff. The top, the Ilhan Omars, the AOCs, the Wallses, they spit the narrative, stir the pot. Then the people underneath them, the police chiefs, the governors, the mayors, they take that pot and they dump it into some bowls and they stir those some more. And then they serve them out to the influencers, the YouTubers, the people that side with them. And they tell them, serve your people from these bowls. And then that's what they do. It's all a proxy system coming straight from the top to the bottom. And that's why a lot of us that know how a lot of this works call it the Soros playbook. Because it's it. They have to proxy it all the way down because it takes away direct connections to each iteration. Now, you can't connect the bottom to the top because they're separated by a bunch of stuff and people and things. You can't connect. The only people you can connect to the top are the mayors and the people that are directly underneath them. Because you can't connect the influencers and all that to them because they're not really. They are being influenced by the top, but they're not. The people that are truly influencing them are the people that directly affect them. The people, their chiefs, their mayors, their governors. So you can't really connect all these pieces as one single totem because they've purposefully separated each iteration downward. And it's a plausible deniability thing. It's an easy scapegoat avenue thing.
Say they're being paid in mass. I don't believe that. I don't think anybody has evidence for it.
He's right.
They're just making this up. And the problem is that you already have the winning opinion. You already have the winning
This is
song.
funny.
Why are you introducing fan fiction that muddies the waters? That's the reason why I think
That's
it's
what
wrong.
it is. And that's what she did. On a national stage, she Donald Trumped it with the Youngstown Somalians eating cats and dogs. She national staged fan fiction. And it might not even be fan fiction. It might actually be 100% legit the truth. But until evidence is shown that it's not fan fiction, that's what it is. And she spit it out on national stage. And that's why these are losing hard. Because they're still missing all the points in between.
A lot of rich Edina moms pining for their 1960s protests and their their university days. Those ladies are protected.
See, I can understand that. See, saying that actually helps the argument because then you think about what it was like in the 60s. They protested everything. Everything was bad. When cars started getting better, they said those are bad. TVs came out, those are bad. Like back in the day, they protested everything. Everything was protested. They didn't have a whole lot. I mean, a lot of their lives were very mundane. Protesting was their job. They didn't have homes and things like that. So protesting was their livelihood. But that's not the case today. And she would have done better sticking with that piece as opposed to adding in that first piece too about being paid actors. Because this has validity. Because it's a lot of these people that are out doing this stuff are reliving their glory days of protesting the Vietnam War. So it's like, so a lot of these people are just reminiscing. So that carries the weight. That carries weight. The first part doesn't. It hurts your argument.
From a lot of this, their kids are not getting crowded out in schools by illegal.
Well, they're not getting arrested either.
Aliens,
and it goes back to the whole meme, like rich people aren't telling their kids to not go to college. They're just telling your kids not to go to college. That's exactly the same thing. These Karens whose kids aren't being crowded out of schools, live behind gated communities, and otherwise don't see these things, how these things affect most everybody else. They're just going to be out talking it because, I mean, it's easier to do it that way.
And they're living in neighborhoods that are, protected or gated.
Well, they're living in gated communities full of white people while they want to have other people live in some multicultural area whenever they don't do that themselves. What I've noticed is that a lot of the people that are the biggest advocates of multiculturalism do not live in multicultural areas. I've noticed that a lot.
They are.
Come to Columbus, Ohio, and you will see it wholeheartedly. But again, Ohio is a liberal policy state, so take it for what you will.
The paid protesters, but I do not think that they represent the common sense people. The problem in Minnesota is common sense people are cowed into silence. They're so afraid. I mean, you saw that with the crime being committed in the daycares. Lots of good people saw the corruption, but were so afraid in that political environment in Minneapolis of being called racist for calling out the corruption. Yeah, and we'll see as we continue to cover this whether or not the really frigid temperatures will dial things.
I've already said it multiple times. You call me racist, I'm going to take it as if I used a racial slur against you, and I'm going to act accordingly. I'm going to cause a scene. And you call me racist, I'm going to take it as a racial slur, and I'm going to cause a scene, and I'm going to get you looked at as a racist. You don't get to throw things around with no evidence as such, because poor people can't just go around and suing everybody for slander and defamation. That's not how poor people works. So if you're in a poor community and you want to throw around racism, oh, that you're racist, you better be ready for the ramifications of that, because that is its own racial slur. You guys know that you can't call people racial slurs, otherwise you get called racist yourself. So you're going to use you're racist as its own racial slur. So if you want to throw that stuff around, you better be ready for the ramifications that come with it, because that's how it should be looked at. If you have no justification to call somebody racist or any other name that carries mass amounts of weight, because the reason I was thinking about this yesterday, or one of the days I was walking, the reason slander and defamation is so bad is because what's being said about that person carries a very heavy legal weight. Like calling somebody gay, or calling somebody a faggot, or saying somebody's stupid or retarded, those things don't carry legal weight. Now, if you take it further and you start basically showing that they're not just words, there's actually hate-filled backing to this, then yes, it does carry legal weight, because then it becomes targeted harassment, discriminatory harassment. But just calling people these terms otherwise don't carry legality, and there's no weight behind them, no weight of the law behind them. So you can call people these without fear of being taken into court for slander and defamation. But when you say somebody's racist, a PDF file, or a child predator, whatever, if you can look into the law books and say see that there is a law with consequences, whether they're heavy or just got weight, and you use those, you call somebody that with no legality, no legal justification, then you should be ready for the ramifications of that. Because again, poor people can't sue people for slander and defamation, because those things they don't just carry legal weight, they carry societal weight. One brain dead idiot out here here's somebody calling someone a racist with no justification or evidence. That person has a very high chance of doing something rashly, because in their mind, they're standing against evil. So stop with this. Stop with this throwing you're racist around, you're homophobic, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi, you're all of this stuff. Stop throwing it around at people, because it's going to get someone hurt who is actually innocent. And it goes back to what I said about the guy last week, the security guard, who was no provocation, just, you're racist, I know you're racist. He was looking for any reason to pull out his gun and shoot me. To me, that's how it felt. It felt like he was the racist one, trying to find any reason to become a hero and kill a white man, because in his mind, he's justified that white man's racist. And again, who cares if they're racist? Who cares if they're misogynistic? Are they committing crimes? No, they're not. Who cares? You don't have to deal with them. So this is basically what I wanted to talk about before class. How stupid this stuff is becoming, and how we need to really pay attention to what fights really need fought. And the people of Iran, they need our thoughts and prayers more than illegal immigrants, more than the politicians that are getting you to fight ICE and fight law enforcement. So let's get back to what really matters and actual oppression in the world, because we're watching a Nazi regime commit a genocide against its people because they were tired of living in the conditions that have been set for them. And that's being 100% oppressed, being killed for having a voice that goes against the government. These people need our thoughts and prayers more than illegal immigrants and people fighting ICE. Let's get back to mission. Let's get back to being people and stop fighting over the stupid shit. Because it's tiresome. I mean, it's not because I get to make content out of it and try to get better at making content out of it, but it is tiresome. Very tiresome. So until after class, peace out, Girl Scout.